we have the World Championship team in transformation here today. They've come literally from all over the world, from all corners of the world. Salim himself came in from Canada. Emily was in New York. Rob was in Singapore. So literally coming from all over the place. So we've got all sorts of people, amazing people doing great things. Now, looking forward, this is what Dubai sees itself to be. And I have 2030 there because I presented this at the Prime Minister's office, and they sort of quietly told me, he said, I think we're going to get there by 2030, so can you please change this? Because this is the speed at which we're going. The point I'm trying to make here is there's a lot of technology in there. What's missing there? There are no trees. Where are the kids? Where is the warmth? Where is the art? We're surrounding you with art and culture. This is what's missing. So what we need to do is not just put technology into Dubai or in a place, a growing, transforming place, but put humanity back in, put love back in. And that is the future, ladies and gentlemen, how to put love back into our lives and into our future as we build our future.
How would you disrupt the car wash industry? And the answer turns out to be literally Moore's Law. As computational capabilities accelerated, our ability to model the weather has become a lot better. And in that 8-year period, we're exactly 50% better at knowing when it's going to rain. And when you know it's going to rain, you don't wash your car. And so this totally orthogonal effect of information is disrupting an industry, and the people in the industry absolutely can't figure out why. Because you can be the smartest car wash owner in the world, and you will not see that coming. We're seeing a new breed of organization that was scaling and delivering 10 times better than their competitors in the same space. And so we started looking at this, and we're tracking an index of over 100 companies like this that are operating at pretty unbelievable capability and scaling in ways we've never seen before. And what we did was we spent 2 years teasing out what characteristics they were using to do this. If you're a startup, you should be doing all of them. But many of them were doing minimum 4 or 5 of them. They all had a massive purpose, like Google organized the world's information, or TED as ideas were spreading. And so we're now seeing tens of thousands of entrepreneurs building EXOs. Francisco has a great framing. He's basically saying now, today, in the future, you won't be building a startup, you'll be building an exponential organization.
Because in computational science, you do the simulation, and you can engage other people's computers around the world to speed it up, or you can get out of IBM now, the little quantum going on now. So we have tremendous capabilities to do thousands of experiments in a few minutes. So that long process I just said can be really crunched down to a small amount, which means that the science breakthroughs will happen far faster than we're willing to understand at this point. So what is possible, as has been clearly stated, is going to change dramatically. One, Moore's Law. But it's not only Moore's Law. It's also artificial intelligence, the acceleration going from narrow to general. As that happens, when people talk about the employment impacts of narrow, like the bus drivers being unemployed and so forth, you can sort of see that coming up, and you can sort of prepare for it. But general is the hockey puck. That cuts across everything.
What we do is when we work with companies, for normal human being, the cost of changing, like we kind of like status quo. Of course, we speak about change, but in reality, we like things the way they are, and we like some stability. So the cost of changing is actually higher than not changing. But after we look at some of what Salim was presenting, look at some of the technology and everything, suddenly this equation swaps. Suddenly the cost of not changing actually becomes higher than changing. And when that happens, we see that companies are ready to actually seriously consider moving forward and doing something different.
One of our clients has actually said that we were responsible for doubling their revenue and tripling their profits in the 3 years since their sprint. And part of that was that we had taught their teams to work so fast and so effectively that when crises hit, they were actually able to reconstitute those teams and create new things that they released into the market extremely fast, and that really drove their profitability. So it's been the mindset shift, the new tools, the speed of working, and the ability to bring in all these amazing new technologies.
There's 4 observations that I have about the world today, which we've kind of summarized today. One is that we have 20 Gutenberg moments hitting us, and this is going to wash away all of the mechanisms by which we run the world, which were largely designed for a world a few hundred years ago. right? Not for today, and definitely not for the trillion sensors coming down the pike. The second is this breaks all of our institutions. And the ways in which we work all change radically. The ways in which we manage the world, the economic basis on which we run the world is extractionary to the planet, and we could wipe ourselves out by keeping on this model. The third is that clearly our existing leadership cannot navigate us through this world. All of our leadership structures are designed to train people in incremental, stable, predictable, linear, incremental outcomes, and the train is pulling into Black Swan Central. Right? And so navigating through chaotic times is not something, especially on the political side, our leadership is set up to do. And the final is we're starting to see almost all activity and implementation of new ideas, new breakthroughs happen at the city level, very little at the country level.
Well, we were talking about before about the Maslow pyramid, right? And as basic needs are met in the world in general, right? I think that education now is very, very focused on how you get a job in the future, right? How you get a job. So we are training people to basically work in the future. But in the future, we might even have AI doing the work for us, right? Or we for the AI, we don't know yet, right? But what I think is that our education is very job focused now, and I think that in the future will be more like purpose focused, because at the end of the day, since we are going up and up and up into the Maslow pyramid, I think that we don't have to train our children in order to look for a job, but to find their purpose and achieve it, right?
And this is the championship team. And that's why I wanted to put them up there so that we can applaud them, we can acknowledge them. And if you want to say something, please do. Paul.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I can say here is change is not optional anymore. Get your ass out of your offices and do a change. One or the other way, you will be disrupted.